Right friends, welcome back to Capsule 6. This is the last capsule for 40th week. This is Read Between the Lines. Two issues we are going to discuss. One is United Nations new Secretary General. What are the challenges? Second one is gold imports reduced drastically. What are the probable reasons? These two things we are going to deliberate this week under Read Between the Lines. First one is Antonio Guterres will be the new Secretary General, and Antonio Guterres was former Prime Minister of Portugal. That is the one aspect. The second aspect is he was head of United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees for 10 years. So that experience of dealing with the refugees will be helpful for the new Secretary General, and he will take charge from 1st January 2017. Other important aspect is Ban Ki-moon's tenure of 2 terms, that is 10 years, will come to an end by end of this year. And out of 15 members of United Nations Security Council, all of you are well aware, United Nations Security Council has got 5 permanent members and a total 15 members. Out of 15 members, 13 members have sent the name of Antonio Guterres to the General Assembly for final approval, and he will become the 9th Secretary General. The first Secretary General was Trygve Lie. The 8th Secretary General is Ban Ki-moon of South Korea, and now Antonio Guterres from Portugal, former Prime Minister of Portugal, will become 9th Secretary General. And the biggest issue is, what are the challenges? He is taking over at a time when the world is ridden with conflicts and contradictions. First and the foremost aspect is Syria is the biggest problem. Millions of people are suffering. Aleppo is under siege. One side from government forces supported by Russia, other side rebel forces supported by United States of America and Western forces. Under these circumstances, civilians are suffering, and the biggest challenge is how to solve Syrian problem. Millions of Syrians are displaced and lakhs of Syrians lost their lives. Under these circumstances, how the new Secretary General will make a difference to the Syrian people? Then, other tragic incidents in the world is Yemen civil war. Several people are losing their lives. One side, the government forces supported by Saudi Arabia and allies. Other side, Houthi rebels allegedly supported by Iran. That means a Sunni-Shia clash is clearly evident in Yemen. And under these circumstances, what the new Secretary General will do? The situation in Syria is horrible. The situation in Yemen is the worst, and Libya is heading for worse situation in future. Under these circumstances, how the new Secretary General will resolve these issues which are ridden with conflicts and contradictions. And West Asia has several contradictions and divided on Sunni-Shia lines. And with China, Russia appears to be coming closer. Again, the world appears to be heading for bipolar era. So, under these circumstances, tensions will rise in the future. Then, terrorism is the biggest problem. United Nations is not able to define what is meant by terrorism. They are not able to adopt a comprehensive convention on international terrorism. So, can he look at these aspects? Then, refugees is the biggest issue. Already 4 million refugees or more than that are staying in other countries, and more than 50% of Syrian population are displaced. And as I have already told you, Aleppo is facing one of the worst civilizational tragedies after Second World War. Situation in Libya is heading for the worst, and things should be set right before it goes out of hand. So there are several challenges for Antonio Guterres. Right, and let us wait and see how he is going to solve the issues in the world ridden by contradictions and conflicts. Right, friends, let us look at the second issue. This is with regard to gold. gold imports have declined by 59% during the first 6 months of this financial year. India used to import around 800 tons to 1000 tons of gold every year during the past 5 to 6 years. And to reduce gold imports, India has brought gold monetization scheme and gold bond scheme, but the present reduction in imports probably nothing to do with gold monetization scheme and gold bond scheme, because the gold monetization scheme is almost a failure and gold bond scheme is successful only up to some extent. And Indians are holding gold anywhere between 20,000 tons to 40,000 tons. And Indian women have got affinity to gold, especially in the form of ornaments. Because of the reduction in gold imports, the current account deficit reduced to almost insignificant 0.1%. And finally, before concluding this lecture, what are the probable reasons for reduction in gold imports? First one is, there was a 6 weeks jewelers strike during March-April 2016. That is one reason. Second one is, high inventories with the traders. Traders probably got higher inventories than 2014 and 2015. All of you are well aware that deficient monsoon occurred during those 2 years. 2014 and 2015, 2 consecutive deficient monsoon years. And probably rural incomes. That means because of the impact of deficient monsoon, reduction in rural incomes and weak rural incomes may be one of the reasons for reduction in gold purchases. Another reason is, in recent times, gold price increased almost in the range of around 20%. And another important aspect is the center's efforts to crack down on black money. Previously, black money used to go towards investments in gold, but now several rules and regulations have brought by the central government. That may be one reason for reduction in gold imports. Then making mandatory of quoting PAN card for purchases above rupees 2 lakh. So this may be one probable reason, and imposition of 1% of excise duty, which may have marginal effect. But look at the other point, interest shown by individuals in investments like real estate in urban areas in recent times. Then, due to penetration of banking services nowadays, there are several options available for investments. Now, common man came to know about shares, mutual funds, and probably some of the money is flowing into these financial instruments like mutual funds, shares. So, under these circumstances, putting all these reasons together, you can come to the conclusion that gold imports reduced because of all these reasons, and some of these reasons may be the real causes for reduction in gold imports. Right, friends, reduction in gold imports may not be good news for Indian women, but definitely a good news for the finance ministry, because the current account deficit will reduce because of a reduction in gold imports. Right, friends, with this let us conclude the read between the lines. This is the last capsule for 40th week. Please do join for news at a glance as well as questions and answers. Have a nice day. Thank you.